And today, we got you here a lovely video. You know, every time I say that, it just doesn't sound right, but I've done it so often that I'm just going to keep doing it. You know what? What is up, guys? So we got you here another video. I said it again just to emphasize the point that I'm going to keep doing it because I want to. Well, you see, Call of Duty over the past couple of years has hit a plateau, if you will. I think they rejuvenated it with World War II, but I don't think people like World War II games. Just the way people, or sheep I call them, act. And honestly, I can understand it. People have their preferences, and that's fine, alright? It just isn't the same feeling you get when you play a futuristic COD or a modern COD. Well, with rumors of a Modern Warfare 4, I think we need to go through the golden age of Call of Duty. You know, back when there was only 2 developers, not 3, and even though there was 2, they still made decent games, and it was before microtransactions and COD points, except for one of these games. One of these games is a little bit different with the COD points. Obviously, we're going to go with what you see on the thumbnail, and that is a picture of COD Modern Warfare 1. And before the Modern Warfare series was taken off, this was Call of Duty 4. This was the 4th COD, 4th installment, and it was just it was just an Infinity Ward game. I didn't think much of it, or I hope other people didn't think much of it. Although the story did have an ending, they decided to build on that, and this is one of the greatest trilogies in gaming when it comes to a plot and a story. And you know, when you go back and look at the old Call of Duties, a lot of emphasis was on the single player rather than the multiplayer, although there was an emphasis on this game on the multiplayer. The single player was still a big reason to get the game, and I mean, for the entire duration of the Modern Warfare series, the trilogy, there's a lot of reasons that you would want to get, or you would want to play that single player. So, and of course the multiplayer, you got a bunch of cool streaks. There was only 3 at the time. You didn't have the whole customization as you do today. So it was all that. You got the UAV, the airstrike, and then the helicopter. Just basic stuff. And then obviously right after this, Treyarch released their first Call of Duty. Because, since Call of Duty 3 bombed, and this was when they were still developing World War II games, they released a game called World at War, and most people agreed that this was a decent game. I mean, Modern Warfare 1 put the game on the map, and World at War sustained it. Although it didn't bring so many more, I guess you could call them, people to the franchise, but it did sustain them for another year, and it was something different. Plus, I mean, the MP40 was overpowered, so moving on. I mean, World at War was just, it was okay. You know, it's sad when I can firmly say if World at War was in this generation of gaming compared to last generation, it would be regarded as one of the greatest CODs in this generation. And this is one of the worst CODs in that generation. Although some people will disagree with me, and that's the point. I mean, there's a lot of people who back this game entirely too much, and there's a lot of people who don't back this game enough. So we're going to move on to the 3rd year. We got the 2nd Modern Warfare. This is the one that broke gaming for Call of Duty. This is what basically put them in the world. You know, when you think of gaming, you think of Call of Duty, and mostly it was because of Modern Warfare 2, and that's what Modern Warfare 2 really did. I mean, the story played off of Modern Warfare 1. You were able to see soap for the first time. I know that for a lot of people that's like whatever, but for Call of Duty fans who played Modern Warfare 1, it was a big deal. Plus, you were able to play as Captain Price, which is always which is always a fun thing. Not Captain Price. Yeah, Captain. You were able to play as Captain Price in the first COD, first Modern Warfare. Not in this one. Not in this one. Anywho, it was an interesting game. You got the whole World War III thing with the Rangers, which they never ended. I did like that part of the campaign. Mostly those parts, like in Modern Warfare 1, I felt like it was a little bit too, I guess you could call it boring, but that's just me. Of course, that's all to do with my opinion, of course. And let's move on to the 4th year in Call of Duty history. This is Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1 was an interesting game. A lot of it is due to the amount of sheer difference it was. It was so different from the originals of World War I, or World at War, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 1, that it made it its own little thing. The campaign was perfect. I felt like you can't really do much to describe this amazing campaign. And then you got the multiplayer that introduced COD points in a way that wasn't microtransaction and consumer bailout, where they hate the consumer. It made Call of Duty even greater. And then we move on to Modern Warfare 3, and this is where a lot of the hate started. And although I really loved Modern Warfare 3, I think it was the best one in the franchise, because I have a soft spot considering it was Modern Warfare 2 without noob tubes and all those other cheesy things that, you know, are included in these games. I just felt that people disrespected it a little bit more than it was deserved, and it really showed when it comes to the newer CODs compared to the older ones. Number 6, Black Ops 2, regarded as one of the greatest Call of Duty games in this generation, especially considering the amount of customization you're able to have in this game, and it's not based on microtransactions. This was 2012, and it felt like it was a big plus when it came to gaming, and it felt new and it felt fresh. Although it was technically a futuristic game, it felt, you know, it didn't feel like it was trying to be different, and that's what I truly enjoy about this game. Is it's doing its own thing, but it's not being different for the sake of being different, and I appreciate that as much as anybody else can. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. This has been the Draxixdude, DRAXIXDUDE, signing off.